To know this, do not give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. What's happening today? We're going to talk about the immigration predictions of 2024. And actually, there's some real-time situation that's happened yesterday. Friends, my name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you solve your immigration problem or maybe preventing that problem from happening in the first place. Welcome, welcome. How are y'all doing today? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to greencardguys.tv. So, the real time situation. What I hope for, what is on my wish list, is not necessarily what Congress cares about. Unfortunately, the two hot topics in Congress right now is about funding for Ukraine, for for I almost forgot the country, Israel. It's billions of dollars funneled to them, and I know you taxpayers, don't like that. And so, yeah, regardless if you're conservative or not, I can tell you I'm not conservative, but I'm fiscally conservative. And I just don't like all that money going over there. So, in general, in the meantime, you're welcome to drop questions in the comment section. You don't have to tell me that you have a question. I see that. No worries. Go ahead and ask. Well, you're welcome to do that. And, it takes time for me to get to those questions because I like to go through the topic of the day. So if you're new to the channel, again, that's how I do it. Welcome to the show. And we actually do offer a strategy session. Some of y'all ask throughout the show, can we have a consultation? Can we chat with you? Not on the live show. Absolutely. We offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. What you do is you go to our website, greencardguys.com. Okay, it's shown here on YouTube and Facebook, just like this. And then click on option one. And then after you complete a few questions, it's going to redirect you to a calendar page. Now, that calendar page to schedule is with our CARES team specialists. They are not attorneys, but they're trained to think like attorneys. Maybe not like analyze a case, but in terms of helping you figure out if we can help you or not, essentially. And then if we can, then they'll schedule you for a strategy session with one of our premier attorneys. Now, let's talk about what happened this past week or so. Okay. I just saw to give you some context about the problem that you probably already know about. There was a TikTok I saw from, I think, CBS News, showed there was a long border, metal, steel, I guess steel fencing, pretty freaking high up, but it doesn't go all the way through, of course, right? There was this gap about this wide, and people could just loop around. Kind of wild, right? And so this person, I don't think he was saying he was impersonating to be like customs officer, but he said, sharing it to the reporter that he stood there and tell people like, "Hey, you can't come in," and he was just joking around. He actually helps migrants. He gives water and food. That's very nice of him. But he was just testing it, and yeah, it's as simple as just having a border protection officer there on standby. Say, "Hey, you can't come in," but they don't do that. So it's kind of interesting. But yet they want to spend billions of dollars for the border. Um, so, with that being said, Republicans, let me share my screen for this news article here. Republicans are always talking about money, give me money for this or that, give me money for the border. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's not really about the border. That's just a talking point for them. Okay. It's very unfortunate. And you would think, oh yeah, because there's a lot of money provided for the. They'll say here, if passed, the bill would provide 20 billion in funding to bolster and expand border security operations at a time when arrests or illegal crossings of the border hit record highs. They always say that crap. It's like kind of like the stock market sometimes. Record highs, record lows. They always try to dramatize it. Yes, there's a lot of migrants that come in, but they'd always try to dramatize it for the purpose of getting funding. of course. Now, some of this provisions here are actually helpful. It would also provide funding to hire additional asylum officers. No brainer. That should happen because really, these cases, unfortunately, asylum to get an interview for asylum, it's around average like 4 to 7 years. Now, I say 4 years because that's at the time that we file a lawsuit to get your interview. Now, some of y'all think like, why do I have to sue the government to get an interview? Shouldn't that just happen automatically? In the policy manual, I think it says like 180 days. But yeah, that's not reasonable for them. It needs to be reasonable. It's just not practical. I mean, because they don't have enough people working as an asylum officer. And you certainly don't want. I think they were trying to think. They thought about having like customs officers or whatnot to handle asylum interviews. Oh my god, you do not want that because they're not trained to do that kind of work. Okay, here, let me show on the screen again. Sorry, I'm only able to share on the screen for Facebook and YouTube, but I will definitely answer your questions. I will get to them soon. Thank you so much. Now, but yeah, this bill did not pass. It says here Republicans are sharply divided over the proposal, criticizing even before that bill text was even released beforehand. So that was Sunday, this past Sunday. It's now Thursday. I think, if I can recall here, let me look at the CNN report here. Okay, let's get rid of all those advertisements. Let's see here. If I'm not mistaken, it seems to be because of the funding for the Ukraine and Israel. And apparently Taiwan's in there, which I could be a little biased. My family's from Taiwan, but yeah, it's getting a bit ridiculous. It's a lot of money going to those countries, and yeah, I think that's really the issue. I know there's some dreamers out there, DACA holders, TPS holders, asked me before about do I think they'll be included. It appears that there was a provision. Let's see here. Said it here somewhere. Let me get to it. Uh, there was supposed to be a pathway, but I don't think there was a direct pathway in that sense for residency. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't see that in there, but I did see about it was going to offer 250,000 more visas for at least the next fiscal year. I don't know if it's going to be continual. Let me see if I can find that here. Visas. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. The next five, it was a proposal to be distributed, not 250,000 per next fiscal year. It was just for over the next 5 years, which is certainly helpful, especially if you have a petition on file. If you're a U.S. citizen, for example, you filed for your sibling, and you're like, holy hell, it's 17 months or 17 years for the next step, waiting for the visa. So, and of course, alleviate the backlog for the visa backlog, especially like the marriage visa cases, and of course the other categories, not just marriage based. But yeah, it didn't pass. Okay, let's see. What was the vote end up being? It says Senate Republicans tanked the bill in a key vote Wednesday. That was yesterday, folks. 49 to 50. It didn't make it. So close, but no dice. So that's the real deal. That is recent as of the less than 24 hours ago. So as soon as we find out anything else, we'll definitely keep you updated now. But my prediction is something has to pass. Something, okay? And if something's going to pass for the benefit of immigrants or migrants, it has to be before the election. So I anticipate that more and more conversation about this will happen. And it's going to be tied in with funding for the war, okay, um, for the allies, and then also with border security. So I'm quite surprised that it didn't pass. Um, but maybe it's the dollar amount essentially at the end of the day. I don't think it does not appear that any issue was related to immigration in terms of any kind of pathway or whatnot. Um, well, I guess that's because no pathway was really offered. It was just more visas. So I'll take a closer look at this because I am interested why the hell it didn't pass. So I'm gonna watch some videos about it because how Congress operates, what they get done or not get done affects us, affects you. So I'll keep you updated. All right, let me answer some questions here. All right, let me scroll back to the top. What's going on, y'all? Thanks for joining. Danae, your husband is in the military. Thank you so much for his service. It's tax season. How do how does filing for taxes work without SSN? Excuse me. You can apply for a tax ID number. If you Google search or Bing search ITIN, they have some instructions on how to apply. Or if you have an accountant or like, I don't know, bookkeeper, but at least accountant, they can help you out. They should be able to help you out though, with that. Um, it used to be, last time I checked it online, irs.gov, that's where you would apply for it. It was a lot easier to do that, but now I think they made it a little bit more difficult online. So check with your accountant. Um, but oh, and Danae and anyone else who's filing taxes with a spouse, I recommend there's two options for married. Okay. First of all, do not select head of household. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. It's just confusing. I don't know. So if you're a tax professional accountant, let me know if in the comments or something what the purpose of head of household. I have no idea. I'm not a tax lawyer. Disclaimer. But for immigration wise, if you're married, just pick married filing separately or married file jointly. Now, from what I understand, married file separately, it could be easier that way because if you have like a business, one of you have a business, that could be why. But otherwise, pick one of the married ones. All right, let's see. All right, PY, what's going on? You asked, how many citations do you need for EB1? In my opinion, in our practice, it's not necessarily number of citations. I think you're referring to um, what's it called? Like publications, right? Getting out there, get your information out there, promoting yourself. So it might be strange to say, but yeah, especially for EB1, really EB1 extraordinary ability, you have to promote yourself in many different ways. Okay, but you don't. There's of course what we call lawyers call like a laundry list, a long list of um, options per se, requirements, but it's not a black and white number, so you don't have to feel pressured by that. It's more about working with an attorney, immigration law attorneys, to help really help your case by explaining to USAS why this publication is like make a shorter explanation, like top notch, like this is a well known publication. So maybe even this one alone is sufficient to explain how you're extraordinary. So hopefully it helps. Hopefully it doesn't give you too much pressure in that sense. All right, let's see. JQ JQUG. Why is my work permit taking longer? Your friends from other states already got theirs. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's good that you get a comparison, but sometimes not apples to apples, even though it should be. Now, if you apply for a work permit, it also depends, could be on the basis. Like, was it based on marriage case? Was it based on like H-1B, like a something else? So yeah, it depends. And wherever your case, you would think the processing time should be like the same for everyone, but it's not. It's just also another factor is personnel, timing of when you happen to file it. Maybe they filed a couple months earlier than you. In case there's change in policy. I don't think the situation for work permit processing is anything to do with policy, but sometimes it does update from time to time. Some, I think for asylum applicants, it just recently changed to 5 year issuance, so it just saves the government time. But anyways, let's see here. But keep checking it, okay? What's up, adulting cosplayer? Can you bring your mom to America at 21? What do you mean at 21? Like when Henny, when you become 21 years old without filing your own taxes? Because your dad does it. I don't think I quite understand your question. Who's filing the taxes? Your dad files taxes on your behalf? So you can have a joint sponsor. if that's what you're referring to. And it can be a family member, like your dad, for example, or someone else. Now, there is strategy behind whether your dad should file for your mom or for you if you're over 21 and US citizen. It just depends. So, but I think your question is more about sponsorship, the form called 864 affidavit of sponsor. But really, if you need a joint sponsor, it doesn't have to be like a family member. It can be like literally a stranger, of course, someone you trust. But because they also have to trust you, they're going to sign a form, and what's it called? Yeah, they have to provide the tax information for the last 3 years. Hopefully that answers your question. Hey, Rez, any tips for studying for the LSAT? You just started, it gets overwhelming. Absolutely. It's, man, any of these, I say, man, sorry. I don't know your gender, but yeah, LSAT, bar exam, for either of those, I really recommend a bar or a prep course. It could be Princeton, Kaplan. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't believe it matters which one you pick. It could be an online one, however you learn. But really, it's more because any of the principles that you gather from that from studying, they're not exactly the same, but whatever you use, it should help you, right? The key thing out of any of these bar prep or when you're studying your study habits, give yourself some breaks, okay? Don't go like 8 hours straight. Eat healthy. You could be, if you put yourself in a hole in the room or um, library. I always went to the library at least a couple hours a day, and then went back home to study. Just try to break up the pace. Anyway, hopefully that helps. Man, this TikTok. On TikTok, they really like want to answer you fast because they unpin the comment. All right, let me switch over here. Hey, Tony, happy Thursday. We got to get ready for Lunar New Year. I was told by my wife I need to get a haircut with my son. I mean, it seems pretty short already. I think I got a good cut. I guess not. How long does it take for NVC to send the internet view date? I think you mean the interview. Oh, interview date for a green card holder after submitting DS-260. So, oh man, it depends on a lot. It really depends. The main thing, depending on Chart A, because that's when the visas and shave. Oh yeah, yeah, I should say. It really depends on the visa issuance when a visa is readily available, and so that depends on Chart A. Okay, and if you just go Nepali, if you just Google search visa bulletin, it should be like the one of first or second search result. And make sure anything, folks, anything that you search online, you want to make sure it's a government website. Okay, unless you look at my website. But and just because you submit the DS-260 form, that's great. That's definitely a requirement. That doesn't mean your interview is going to be like in 1 or 2 months. That's not how it works. It really is focused first on the visa bulletin, Chart A, if you're abroad. And plus, you're saying for green card holders, so you're sponsored by, so it's F2A. F2A, oh, that is so frustrating right now. It's back. I think they're working on cases that are all other countries other than China, Mexico, India, and Philippines. Yeah, they're working on a case from 2020. I'm pretty sure. Let me check real quick. Oh, no, updated 2023 for Chart B. But yeah, 2020 for Chart A. So it's super frustrating. Yeah, Tony says I got to get a haircut and a shave. That's right, brother. I cannot disappoint the wifey. Richie, your wallet was stolen and you lost your residency card. Oh gosh, guys. Would you need to redo citizenship? What? Redo to apply for No, 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 no. So residency, actually, your card itself is actually different than like a driver license. For a driver license, you actually need to show proof when you're driving, right? And maybe for insurance purposes. Um, and also when the driver license expire, you technically not supposed to drive. But for residency, even if you lose it, that doesn't mean you don't have resident status at all. So thank you so much, Richie, for asking. You still have resident status. You just need to you need to apply. I wouldn't say apply like straight from the beginning all the way. That'd be ridiculous. You need to file the form I-90. Okay. You need to file the Form I-90 now. If you're already eligible in terms of timing wise to apply for citizenship, is what I like to call it. They call it naturalization. So the full phrase, naturalization, become citizen. Might want to consider that. Now, in the policy manual, it does say you have to have the resident card. I think, yeah, the resident card. But some field office they don't care. But this oath ceremony, they do ask for the card. But again, like if you don't have it, some officers don't care to ask. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Okay. But yeah, folks, your green card, resident card, do not keep it in your wallet. Just scan it because really, the like at least two scenarios that I think you really need to have it handy is when you're traveling, okay, abroad, not domestically, and also when um, when you apply for a job for the I-9 form, which it could be all done on the internet. Pretty sure. I mean, that's what we do with our team. So that's really two scenarios I can think of. Because look, I know like Texas, Florida, they pass some laws in the state say, "Oh, you need to prove citizenship." I don't know how the hell they're gonna know. As a U.S. citizen, I don't provide my freaking birth certificate. And I have not heard of any law enforcement officer to say, "Show me proof of citizenship," even though Texas passed that stupid law SB4 like in 2018. It just so happened that recently, 2023, there was another SB4 in Texas. So, what a coincidence. But yeah, no U.S. citizen brings proof in their vehicle of citizenship. That's stupid. So, anyway, this is a good time to let y'all know if you appreciate the way I share information like this. Hit the screen, tap the screen as long as you can do it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that even matters, but follow up there or follow down there on your respective platform because especially if I don't answer, I'm not able to answer your question today. I do go live Monday through Friday, or just want to hang out. Follow for more, okay, folks. Let's see. Uh, and Joanne, thank you so much for sharing the live show. Let me try to go back up here, scrolling down. I missed a couple questions. Ooh, quite a few actually. Now, TikTok would be even more amazing if they could just follow my flow of answering questions in order. But we can't ask for everything because they're listening to us anyway. Let's see. Okay, your mom has a B1 B2 visa, okay, tourist visa, which is expiring in a couple months. Can she renew it from Canada? So as a Canadian, you have Canada is one of several countries that are eligible for ESTA. So it's essentially a visa waiver. So you don't need a physical one, and you can register online. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Um, so I don't know in what scenario if you need a physical visa, but this is a good time to mention that the visa itself and the passport, because some people get confused. Usually it's valid for 10 years for a tourist visa into America. But just so you know, so you don't do the wrong thing, it does not mean that when you enter America that you can stay for 10 years. Now, the majority of y'all know this, but just in case you don't know, now it used to be about 5 years ago and older in the past. It used the actual permission to stay in a certain amount of time in that instant was a little card called the I-94, a white card, a square card. They don't do that anymore. It's all online. So it's with the CBP website now. So if you wanted to know how long you actually need to stay, in case your parent is here in the U.S. right now, you can go on that. You can just Google search I-94 and it's CBP, and it should be a resource on the website at greencardguys.com. And sometimes it's valid. It's up to the authorized stay is valid up to 6 months, but sometimes I could shorten it, especially for Canadians. Sometimes I've seen as like a week. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of holidays. Some officers are ridiculous. All right, maybe scroll back down. Okay, yes, see. All right, folks, stay on live here. I'm going to try to answer as many questions I can in the next at least 10 minutes. Okay. Your DAC, yes, so your DACA will expire in March 2024. Okay, it's pretty soon. Next month, can you send renew and apply for AP at the same time? Yes, you can. Now for AP though, so for your renewal in general, apply as soon as possible. Okay, because some people have complained. I mean, not complained to me, but share their feedback here that it's been taking a long time, like months plus. But for us, I don't know what it is. Not saying we're magical or anything, but we've had a shorter processing time. In AP, you might know it's very limited circumstances, so you have to have very fairly specific reasoning to apply for AP based on DACA. So check out those instructions on the website. Good morning, Moy. Yeah, it's online. Thanks for sharing. Let's see. Oh, okay, Henny, you're also a U.S. citizen. That's good to know. Okay, so then you hopefully, so if that's the case, if you're a U.S. citizen, Henny, then you can apply for your mom. I think you know that already. If you're probably over 21. Um, And that's immediate relative. I don't know if your dad's a US citizen. I don't know if you mentioned that, but well, either way, if your dad's a US citizen, that's also considered immediate relative, meaning even though there's still a wait time, the visa is immediately available, so there's less wait time. Zoila on TikTok. Should your mom just cross the border legally? They won't let her re-enter with petition. So, of course, I have to tell you as an attorney, your mom should not cross the border illegally. Because ultimately, the consequence is that there's going to be a bar, a restriction. Okay. I mean, the only other way is if you apply for asylum, but is you mentioned here that she has a petition. But yeah, petition alone is not going to give authority for someone to come in. Now, Zoila would love to learn more information on your situation. So your mom's situation, to see learn more what exactly is going on with the petition, because there's several steps after that. Maybe a petition approved, and then you're on to the next step. I don't know. I can't tell from here if she already had the interview, right? Some people we have to file lawsuits on behalf of them to the government because they didn't receive the visa, and they're like literally finished the entire process. They just have to wait for the visa. It's ridiculous. So we call that scenario like 221G. And some people don't even not people, the government, the embassy or consulate, sometimes they don't even ask for a specific document. They just say, "Hey, you're in 221G." Okay, well, that's BS. That's dumb. Um, just another way for the government to hold people up. All right, crazy cupcake. That's a good name. You just filed a 751, and you have to do biometrics again. Yeah, typically any new application you file, you have to do biometrics because, as far as I understand, your prints last for 18 months unless they changed it. I know during pandemic they started saying issuing notice to say they can reuse the biometrics. Um, but yeah, typically you do have to redo it again. Okay, Lao Luge Love? What if you're married? Sorry, I mispronounced your name. What if you're married, file separately, and split the kids? So it essentially in terms of like child custody, that kind of situation, you indicate on the immigration form like your children. Well, technically, so there's two things to look at here. I'll try to make it as short summary as possible. In terms of income, you need to show the minimum income. It depends on household size. So even though they say household, it still technically includes your children, even if they're not on your tax return as a dependent. Um, so hopefully that doesn't affect you too much, but we're happy to chat later about that. But you're married, file separately, split the kids. I don't know what you mean by that then. So yeah, maybe one if you file if one spouse has a child undependent. So I guess that's why they do that in the instructions. They even though you made one child could be in one tax return and one another person's tax return, even though you're married, um, you can put them all. You have to put them all together essentially for the foreign purposes. Okay. All right. The possibility on TikTok. You filed mandamus after being an AP. Okay. Glad to hear you took action. Receipt March 2021. Consular processing. Your case was filed originally, the petition 2021. I-130. What the hell? I-130 is reopened? Okay, we're happy to chat more. You said you filed mandamus, so does that mean you have a lawyer for that? What about a lawyer for the like the primary case, the I-130? Um, what did the consulate say? You could DM us afterwards. Um, but yeah, I'm wondering what the consulate said. They may have mentioned like why they're reopening the I-130. Okay, because I-130 is primarily to establish to verify your family relationship. Now, if it's a company sponsoring you, the I-140, it's to verify the employer employee relationship. So it does happen to reopen the petition, but it's rare. And if you consider based on percentages, Goody, if you use Medicare now and you're married to U.S. citizen, will it affect your file? I'm not as familiar with the public benefits in that sense. Um, Let me see if I can find a web page about it. Because yeah, there's a page on the USCIS website about public charge, but I don't know if it goes detail. Let's see. I probably got a flyer somewhere. Uh, let's see if they've mentioned Medicaid. I don't believe, and if you need the website, we're happy to share with you, especially if you have share your email, we can email it to you. But I don't believe here it mentions anything about Medicaid. And in general, it says we encourage everyone, including non-citizens, to seek necessary medical care, including treatment or preventive services. It says for COVID-19, but I think they mean for anything. All right, hopefully that's a little bit helpful. All righty, Mariella, green card approval percentage for someone that entered legally and has 3W. Oh, I do not get percentages in general. There's been times I have to say low percentage, and yet some people still get approved, which is great. We definitely lawyers do not like to promise. Let's see, but we wouldn't even offer a quote for service if we don't think someone's even got a possibility. Has married to U.S. citizen going to Juarez? Um, yeah. Did you apply for the waiver? Did you get that approved yet? Did you start the process in general? Um, you enter legally. Is it just one time? Hopefully, you did not leave or your spouse leave at all after that. Because if you did and re-enter, that's a permanent bar. 3 DUI. So the problem you're going to have with DUI and you go abroad is the medical exam. So you would think the medical exam's like, okay, just the physical body. But I heard of situations where they would refer you if they see that you have some kind of criminal past that's drink related to drinking. They refer you to, I guess you could say, like a behavioral or psychologist or something. They could tag you for like something called like habitual drunkard. It's stupid, of course. So yeah, that's a ground of inadmissibility as part of health grounds. So they tag it with they relate it to the CDC. So there's information about it on the CDC page. I need to find a way to share that on my website so people have an idea. Because some people think that, oh, yeah, I mean, in terms of the crime itself, it's fine. But in terms of like if it's related to drinking, man, they could tag you as habitual drunkard and bar you, and that would be freaking annoying. That'd be so ridiculous. So definitely talk to a lawyer to get a better idea so you're prepared. All right, let me switch over to Mohammed, what's up? You say, hi, man. Nepali says, Mr. John, yes, I answered your question earlier. Hopefully you heard it, but we need more information for your situation, provide you more appropriate information for you, Mr. Nepali. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, I didn't think so. Varun, will Perm 9089 processing time improve in 2024? No, I don't think so. I think they're going to continue to intentionally delay people, as now it's taken over a year. A year. Ours, fortunately, has not taken a year yet that we have pending, of course, but yeah, it every year it seems to be increasing every 2 or 3 months. Um, I think what it takes in this situation, I don't always encourage. I rarely encourage class action, but this situation, Varun, I think it might need to require like a class action lawsuit because it's ridiculous. I really think something like this is like a rubber stamp situation. They're just slowing it down. I mean, inherently, every year more people are going to apply to live here, work here temporarily or permanently. So processing times will increase. But geez, Department of Labor got to get their shit together. Excuse my language. Over a year, it's ridiculous. But will they do it proactively by themselves? No, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't reduce it. I'm honestly surprised that even when it started last year to waive interviews for the marriage cases, at least, I was surprised because I really do believe at an interview you really can understand the person's situation, not just through paperwork. But hey, we'll take it. That's the funny thing about conservatives, the Republican Party. They have no idea. If they should complain about something, it should be about the parole, overstay, and waiving interviews. But don't tell them, please. Okay, let's see. Let's back to TikTok here. Okay, baby Zoma. Your husband petitioned for you. That's great. Do you need advanced pro if you have an interview in Juarez and had DACA at 16? So number one, I hope you continue your DACA renewal. And then I'm glad you did that before you're 18 years old. So you stopped any on zeroed out any unlawful presence. But yeah, um, you still need advanced parole. Okay, and hopefully you're eligible for that before you apply because I think it costs around 575, almost $600. But I would not apply if you don't have the reasoning to back it up on needing to travel. So, and just saying you want to visit family alone or tourism shopping is not going to cut it, unfortunately. Or especially if you tell them I'm just trying to do this so that I can get legal admission. They're not going to fly for that. So don't waste your money if you don't have that specific reasoning. I think one of the best reasoning for AP based on DACA is like some kind of job related conference, something like that. Alrighty. Lala, can you go to PR with pending I-485 if you have advanced parole? But then again, I mean, yeah, it's technically part of the US, but yeah, I'm not sure about that one actually. Because when you come back, when you fly back in, technically, yeah, I mean, I'm usually hesitant about that because it's not part of the continental United States. So similar to Hawaii, I'm a little risk adverse in that sense. But happy to chat more, and you can remind me, and we'll happy to take a look into it more. Which we get this question often, but I just honestly forget to look it up. But if you DM me, then we'll remember because I don't have a team member keep me accountable to check it out. Alrighty here. Okay, Louise, Angel Travel or Hell Travel does adjudicate a youthful offender crime prevent someone with to apply for green card or with a green card to apply for citizenship. So technically, you have to disclose it, okay? Because they USCIS says they know everything, and when you take a print, so one key thing is maybe just apply for a FBI background check. I think it's like $27. You send them your fingerprints on a card, like this size card. What do you call it? You can order on Amazon or just go to your local like police department, sheriff's department. You can Google search see if they even offer the service. But you can do it at home and send that in. Um, but yeah, the default rule is that they you have to disclose everything. But yeah, if it doesn't show up in the on the FBI background results, then if they completely sealed it, then yeah, that just depends. You got to talk to a lawyer 101 about your situation. Okay, let's see. What time is it? All right. I'm trying to keep myself on track. Thank you so much for the questions. Just in case I don't forget, if you're just new to the channel, welcome. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law in the United States, helping you solve your immigration problem, point you in the right direction, and maybe even prevent the problem from happening in the first place, folks. So if you're trying to reach us, find more information, maybe even consider us to represent you in your case, even if you filed already, we're happy to help. It'd be our pleasure. Go to greencardguys.com and fill out, answer a few questions on the form. Let's see. Okay, Cheeto, you need to apply for asylum. Yeah, so there's an online, I think it's online now, maybe, but you definitely need to apply for that within 1 year of entry. We do not offer service on asylum. I know a couple people asked. We greatly appreciate you asking, but we do have a referral list if you would like it. Send us your email on a DM. Okay, here. Okay, Pessy fines. I'm 130 since June 2021 with 485, no movement. Holy hell. That's a long time. That's what, 2 years? 2 years and a couple months? Um 2 years and 6 months or 2 years and 8 months, if I'm counting correctly. Yeah, so Asians are not always good at math, by the way. Tried ombudsman and you did an expedite, you tried congressman, senator, nothing. Yeah, so unfortunately, contacting those agencies and your politician, elected official, if anything, is really just to get an update. It's not the mechanism to push them to encourage them to give you to do what you want. Like it's the visa issuance or the interview date. Some people are waiting on that interview. It sounds like that's your situation. So to like move the case to the next step, that requires a lawsuit. Okay, folks, it's not going to be getting inquiry or response, which they take usually at least 30 days. They got a lot of shit they got to do, like dramatize what the hell's going on, unfortunately. But that goes to this question that you asked. How much is for mandamus? So there's a court filing fee. There's also the fee to mail, unfortunately, physically mail the paperwork, the complaint to the agencies. But for us, we do charge an amount that we can all. I can't talk about online, but you can contact our team and our the first call. They're happy to share with you. We love to be transparent. But I've been banned on this platform, so because I share the fee. It was like 5 minutes, but it felt like forever. All right. Let's see. Okay, Mr. Justice, you have a pending asylum case. Can we represent you? Goes to what I was saying earlier. We appreciate the request. We don't. We just don't have the capacity to do it. And plus, even if we had like freaking football team of attorneys, um, the case is pending. They're pending too long, right? So, and plus, the main thing really is it takes. I really believe it's like any business. You have to niche down is what I recommend to any new business owner. Um, but yeah, we can refer you, send you a referral list. One that comes to mind is Brian Manning. I can't endorse him, but you have to do your due diligence. So we can share his information or anyone else. But he all he does is asylum cases. He was a former asylum officer. Okay, let's see here. Let's see, Pamela. Again, I don't mean to intend to like skip anyone. It's just like I'm trying to remember where I last left off. 485 was based on was scheduled for interview, then changed to actively review. Is it normal? Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's a glitch or something, but they could have scheduled you and then realized, oh, maybe this could be a situation we could waive your interview. That's more likely a scenario. We actually just got email from a not for a client from the Orlando field office and sending us like a courtesy email or courtesy request for certain documentation. Actually, there's just a long laundry list. They didn't say anything specific. And it's because the case has been pending so long. I think it's been almost 2 years. But they usually send an RFE, like your online account or by mail, request for evidence. And so when it's a formal request for evidence, it's there's a specific deadline, but this is courtesy email. So when it's a courtesy email or courtesy notice, that means there's no deadline. But of course, the sooner you provide everything, the better. And I anticipate that that case for that client, that couple, the interview could be waived. So hopefully that gives you a better idea. But I can't promise for your situation, of course. TM's 1110. If you got some trouble and got jailed, does that make your petition failed? No, not necessarily. Some people have, there's plenty of people have crimes, but number one depends. Are you the petitioner or the beneficiary, foreign national? But even if you were the foreign national, just because you have a crime in the past or arrest doesn't mean you're knocked out, like you're not eligible. Um, just depends on the crime. So let's chat. Happy to chat. Okay. Did I just say the same thing like twice? Okay. This one's a bit funny. Is there a limit on the how many times you can marriage you could do like the marriage sponsor? So we have several we have several clients that um, get married to someone, get divorced, and get married to someone again. I know it's hard. I shouldn't chuckle. It is hard to find the right partner, and but in terms of sponsorship, there's no like black and white number in that sense. There's nothing in the regulations that limit it, but you want to be mindful that you don't no one the USCIS doesn't think that you're trying to game the system or something. Of course, I'm not claiming that you are, but it's all about perspective, right? My perspective is different than USCIS, but I have to when I'm on a live show, um, sharing some scenarios, answer solutions here, um, and even problems, things to be aware of with USCIS. USCIS is always going to assume that something is wrong. Okay. That's just their nature. It's the government. They have to assume that. So that's why you have to provide evidence to overcome their assumption. And legally, they cannot call it a presumption. So, but yeah, but still, like, especially when case refers to court, immigration court, judges and government attorneys will take a look at that. Oh, this person not just married 3 times, but had a petition on file for them 3 times. That's not a good look. So that's why, folks, if you have a significant other or partner and one of you are undocumented or no status, you really got to make sure it's the right fit because, man, you just don't want to go down there. Finally, you get the interview if you have an interview and they're like, something's off between this couple. Chichito, yeah, welcome to call. I think you're one of them that have an asylum case, but you're welcome to call, especially if you've been waiting a long time for your interview. We can file that lawsuit for you. Minimum 4 years for us. Okay, let's see. I think I could do one more question here. Thank you so much for the questions. Let's see. It's Mark. It's me, Carpax. Do we get enough time to study for the interview? I think you're referring to the N400. You're still waiting for biometrics. So the next steps after biometrics is the interview. Now, usually, I mean, in 2023, our average time life cycle of the case was about 3 to 5 months, which is much faster than before. Before 2023, it was about average 12 months. Okay, so yeah, you gotta study. I mean, I wouldn't say cram or something. We have resources. We're happy to share it. It's also online, but you gotta study. Okay. If for some reason you fail the first time, it's okay. This is America. We love to give second chances. So USCIS actually offers for free a second chance to do the exam. They don't charge extra, but after the second time, you're dunskies. If you fail that again, then you got to refile. Okay. So hopefully that gives you an idea. All right, folks. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Show me some love. If you would appreciate the way I share information, please follow up here or down here on your respective platform. I will be back live tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Take care.